So today I just wanted to briefly talk about Elves, the 1989 film. It is an independent film, not necessarily the best movie I've ever seen. I remember seeing this when I was 8 years old. I don't know why I chose the movie. Obviously it just has an arm sticking out of a box. When I chose to rent it, it wasn't even Christmas time, which was probably even more bizarre. Pretty much the only person in this movie I actually recognized was Dan Haggerty, which I only know him for playing Grizzly Adams. So it's a very bizarre movie. We have a young girl named Kristen. The film starts where she's out in the woods having some sort of an anti-Christmas ritual with some of her friends. She accidentally cuts her hand and bleeds on the ground. As they're leaving, they do not realize that she's accidentally resurrected an evil elf, or a demonic elf. So this creature pretty much through the remainder of the film follows her around. She obliviously returns to her job the next day. She works at a snack bar or food court type setup at the mall. During the course of that day, the person who had been hired as the Santa is murdered by the elf, and Dan Haggerty's character is hired as the replacement Santa. He is basically a combination ex-cop / reluctant hobo in the film, so he's also been just kind of hiding out in the mall, living off of the snack bar leftovers. Obviously his detective skills being put into use, he notices a strange symbol on the floor where the Santa has been murdered. He tries not to investigate, but obviously winds up doing so. Throughout the course of the film, we later realize that Kristen's grandfather is not only her grandfather, but her actual father. So apparently she's the product of incest, and the reason this happened is because apparently her grandfather is a reformed Nazi, and he was involved in this crazy plot of not only secret demonic elf worship, but apparently Hitler's true plan was to conquer the world with a master race of elf-human hybrid type creatures. So the fact that she is now a pure Aryan virgin due to the grandfather having raped his own daughter, she is the evil elf's bride. So the elf must impregnate her in order for the plot to see success. The film is definitely filled with a bunch of quirks. You have very off and very odd dialogue. There's a scene in which I think most of you have seen the film or familiar with, where Kristen's younger brother is peeking at her as she's getting out of the shower, and just to rephrase slightly, he shouts at her that he has seen her large breast and is going to tell everyone that he saw them. You know, which is kind of weird because who would confess to peeping on their sister to begin with? So anyway, in order to defeat the elf, she has to use some sort of a crystal or an elf stone, and apparently drive it into the hole that the elf came out of, which to me makes absolutely no sense. The creature itself is very disproportionate. Sometimes it looks like you're seeing close-ups of a guy wearing a mask. Sometimes you only see the creature's feet just running along the ground, and he has just very short feet. There's no way a torso that long or shoulders that broad would fit feet or legs that short. So it is just a very all-around bad design. Within the ending sequence, for some reason Kristen is not injured, but she's crawling along the ground to toss the stone into the ground. This makes absolutely no sense. She's injured and the elf is walking alongside her. He could just as very easily have done what was necessary in order to complete their evil plot. So the film is just definitely filled with a bunch of odd choices. The fact that it's mostly dark really does not help, because you get these very tight close-ups of a very badly designed creature. You have bad dialogue. I mean, a portion of the plot is very interesting and bizarre in itself. If you just take the subplot of the whole Nazi thing and, you know, say somebody were to decide to do a remake, just work strictly off of that, do it as a period piece, I think if done properly, it might actually be a fairly solid film. But the way this one was executed, not so great. I'm actually going to say it was just pretty much caca. But yeah, as far as cheesiness or just laugh factor, it's definitely gained somewhat of a following. It's a very definitely interesting film, and I was actually looking forward to revisiting this because I have not seen this movie in forever, and sad to say, I have not found a DVD copy of this. I've only seen it around on VHS or uploaded copies on YouTube, and for those of you who are interested, I will go ahead and link the video if you do want to check out Elf. Like I said, it's definitely one of those quirky, really weird films. I definitely think it could have been executed a lot better. It is what it is, but you know, I've seen worse, so still definitely a fairly enjoyable film. But yeah, to my knowledge, the film has never received a DVD release. However, I may be wrong. If any of you have seen it around on DVD, or if it actually does exist, please let me know, because this movie is just so bizarro. I would totally love to have a copy of this. But that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. Enjoy your holiday, and I will talk to you later.